a while. So that's what I mean.
I was actually wondering about this transition from academia to running your own business.
Yeah.
The academia actually came later, which was great. I went from corporate to being fed up with it, to leaving and trying to start my own thing. And at the time, I was like, I'm 25, I have no kids, no mortgage. If I'm gonna fall flat, now's the time. The academia thing came later when, you know, the store Design Within Reach furniture store? The Palo Alto branch did this exhibit that was 20 designers over 20 years out of Stanford, and I was one of the designers. And an old professor of mine came up, and I was chatting with him, and I hadn't seen him in a decade or something. He's like, "Would you like to teach?" I'm like, "Yes." And at the time, I was working alone, living alone, and you're kind of like, human interaction? Sure. So that's how I started teaching.
Okay.
So that came later. But I'd love to teach more. The teaching is my favorite part. I have a great time doing it. I love my students. So.
But in the question that what's hard when you start a new business?
A lot. Everything. Everything. I think the hardest things are the fact that you're alone, and if there's a question, you don't have a boss to ask. You just need to figure it out.
Right.
And you're kind of like, on some level, you're not going to know the answer, and there's no one else to defer to, and there's no one to motivate you if it's not internally motivated. So for me, I'm such an extrovert. I get all my energy from other people, and so I can keep that going for a while, but at some point it's harder when no one is there and no one notices what you're doing or cares or is involved, and you're not talking to anybody, you're not bouncing ideas off everybody, you're doing too many things alone. That's what I found the hardest. The whole,